Dome Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, it's a big week of boxing. You know, heavyweights. Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev. That's going to be a big fight. It's going to be a good fight. We talked about it. But you know, something else, even before that happened, that was really, really significant to me. I hadn't had the time to listen to no videos about it, or if I did, I would tell you, but haven't. But I just got to get my take on that, man. You know, Manny Pacquiao, probably the biggest legend still fighting, because Floyd ain't fighting no more, right? So Manny Pacquiao, right? You know, come on, man. This is an 8-division champion. I don't agree with 8 divisions, but that's another thing. But it's a whole lot of division champion. We can say that, right? And, you know, just awesome Manny Pacquiao. Legend. Right now, it's the biggest legend that we got in the sport, right? So this is Pacquiao. Pacquiao ain't never scared of nobody, you know, except one guy we'll get to later. But Pacquiao, have we ever really had, but Pacquiao ain't gonna fight somebody. We only knew, the only questions was like Mayweather without no doping test. We know in 2009 he wasn't really in a hurry to do that. Turned down a whole lot of money. But come on, Mayweather's the GOAT. You ain't gonna fight him if you ain't got nothing extra in your system, right? I ain't mad at him about that, right? And we know he ain't fighting one other one, but we're gonna get to him. But, you know, Errol Spence basically beat Danny Garcia, who everyone knows is awesome, right? We know Danny Garcia is awesome. Don't try it. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, right? But Danny Garcia still, right now, ain't really never been hurt and fought a whole lot of people. You can't forget what he did at 140. We can't forget that. The Lucas Martese, people that forget that was a George Foreman moment for this guy. Right? Everybody was really worried about this guy about to fight Lucas Matisse at that particular time. And he handled his business against Lucas Matisse and others. So Danny Garcia is a pretty awesome fighter, right? We know it's a few limitations there, but it ain't been no limitations until he got to 147. And everybody that beat him wasn't nobody that came up. Those were 147 pounders, and all of them, you know, can go to 154. Keith Thurman definitely, Sean Porter definitely, and Errol Spence, definitely, right? So he ain't, you know, he ain't losing nobody smaller than him, is he? So he's a bad dude. Errol Spence beat him thoroughly. All right, I had him only winning by 2 rounds, but most people had him winning by more. I told you I accepted. You know, it was an Adelaide Bird moment. You know, maybe I didn't see something, but I just wasn't giving Spence all the close rounds. I was giving this couple of them tie rounds and draws, stuff like that. But, okay. But Errol Spence won the damn fight, and it wasn't no question about it. We can say that. But Manny Pacquiao, the legend, was like, after that, got with him. We talked about that too. But, you know, listen, I want to fight you in 2021. That's, you know, that news to me made me think of one thing. And that thing is this. All hail Terrence Crawford. That's what that is. To me, right? He wanted to fight Spence. People could say, oh, it's the money. And it's this. And it's that. He might have seen something. Well, listen, he been watching Terrence Crawford for 6 years, and he ain't never seen nothing. And Terrence Crawford ain't really bigger than him. You see what I'm saying? 140 they could have fought. 135. Now 147. He still ain't seen nothing to make him want to fight Terrence Crawford. Man, that's awesome. Because Terrence Crawford, listen, let me tell you something about Terrence Crawford. To be #1 pound for pound, and you're undisputed at 140. You're going for something that's unprecedented if your name ain't Evander Holyfield, to be undisputed in 2 different weight divisions. There's a possibility there. And a good possibility, and we all know it. Right? That's what Terrence Crawford about to be. And you the guy, the only guy, who Pacquiao ain't in a rush to get with. Right? Thought I was going to say concussed, didn't you? Ain't in a rush. Okay? To fight this guy the whole time. Now, there's different excuses. We had the same promoter. It wasn't no crossing no streets or nothing. We was under the same promoter the whole time, and we couldn't get that fight happen. And the promoter was like, shoot, I ain't putting him in against this guy. It'll be the passing of the torch, and he might get hurt messing around with this guy, who's not bigger. Not the huge Errol Spence. I mean, that's props to this guy, right? And I'm just, you know, when I take a little issue to Errol Spence being A-side over Crawford, right? I'm going to tell you why, and it's because of the #1 pound for pound and the fact that Pacquiao don't want to fight him, and I've been undisputed. Things that are just not happening, right? I think that we shouldn't be worried about who's more popular. We do know Spence had that one fight after the Olympics and 6 million people came through. right? 6 million people came through. That means from now on, it's going to be about 1 million that's going to come through because they like what they saw, right? Bud over here fighting and not that many people looking at him on pay-per-view with Victor Postal. Why are you going to do the man like that? But we need to be talking about accomplishments. Let mainstream media talk all that smack about other stuff. But when it comes to accomplishments, I don't think nobody got Bud, period, right now. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we need to be talking about because we can't give them no food. Talking about, hey, we want to see Spence versus Crawford before somebody fights Pacquiao. Somebody got to fight Pacquiao first because when Spence and Crawford fight, that belt has to be in there, right? They need to fight for Undisputed. Similar to, and I'm going to always mention it, to Charlo and Andrade. When they fight, it should be for Undisputed. We ain't going to let Golovkin and Canelo get away and we ain't going to fight them. No, right? Y'all first, then we can try to be Undisputed, right? That's how that should be. So, yeah, you know, a lot of times, you know, these fighters, you know what I call them the Negro League fighters, my Lewis, the Real King Kong Ortiz, you know, Demetrius Andrade, stuff like that. Who else, you know, Guillermo Rigondeaux, Devin Haney, the Charlos, and definitely Terrence Bud Crawford. You know, we ain't gonna let y'all get, you know, we ain't gonna let y'all get too popular up in here. And I think that we should not do that. We should make sure that we keep accomplishments at the forefront because with this A-side stuff, that's Mayweather. And if we want to keep talking about Mayweather, you know, that wasn't popularity. Right? And that we keep getting that mixed up because Mayweather beat the people who were popular. And after that, did Mayweather fight somebody more accomplished than him and the other dude was the A-side? Or Mayweather was the A-side and the other dude was more accomplished than Mayweather? That wouldn't happen. Oscar De La Hoya, he fought. Oscar De La Hoya was the A-side. After that, I was more accomplished than anybody anyway. That's why. And first, second of all, I was never popular. I was the one that they want to get beat. So we have to take Mayweather out of the equation. That's an anomaly. You understand? That ain't happening no more. First of all, ain't nobody going to be that awesome anyway. But if somebody is, right, the closest one to that is Terrence Crawford. So we have to celebrate that. Make sure that we understand. We got to repeat number one pound for pound and reluctantly Undisputed and trying to go for a second division Undisputed. That's Evander Holyfield territory. No one else has done that. I did a little research. I didn't do much. But you ain't seeing no 2 divisions Undisputed dudes. And the only one got an opportunity to do that is Terrence Crawford and your boy Alexander Usyk. Now, Spence, come on, man, awesome guy. But what Crawford is doing, that would be Spence's equivalent of going up to middleweight. Not even junior middleweight. It would be middleweight and then fighting one of the baddest dudes there. That's what would be with Spence. Crawford, 135, the baddest dude. 140, Undisputed. 147, I'm 1A or 1B. Come on, guys. There ain't no A-side over that. It shouldn't be. Let's put it like that. It shouldn't be. If it is, it is. But I think we shouldn't mention that so often. We should be mentioning, hey, we're proud of an Undisputed dude. We're proud of a number one pound for pound dude. And we're proud of a dude who's trying to be Undisputed in 2 weight divisions. Anybody else trying to do that? Think about that, y'all. Done with Sports Talk worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.